Manchester United is ranked, I think, the highest for creating the most amount of chances but not scoring. So that's a very sad statistic to have, especially when RVN is your striking coach or striker coach. So again, we've heard this debate go around many times. Do the players just want to get rid of the coaching staff? Do the players just want to get rid of the manager? I mean, some of these things, even like Diego Dalot, would you have finished that goal?
I think a lot of us would argue that we would.
Yeah.
Again,
there's pressure. You're playing in a big club. You're playing with, hundreds and thousands of fans watching and all that pressure. Sure. But as a professional, this is your bread and butter. You should have put that away.
Arsenal supporters, the Blackburn supporters, the Liverpool supporters. So it's like, for us, it's in a way, we don't want Ten Hag to go because of the way United's been playing under him. So to see him actually get sacked, to us, we see it differently. So it's more like, oh no, so who's going to come in?
Welcome to episode 9 of SG FanTalk, where the regular guys talk about the not so regular game of football. Back with me, we have Terence. I'm going to call him Trusty Terence because it's usually the both of us here. I think for the last 3 episodes, I hope you guys are not bored of our reviews of these matches. And let's just get straight into it. There's so many exciting topics that we need to talk about tonight. We've got managers. You can see that I'm wearing my Man U jersey today, and rightly so, because we have just received news just before this recording that Manchester United have sacked their manager and they're going to appoint a new one. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we definitely want to review the rest of the games over the weekend. Very exciting games that we want to talk about. Should we do predictions first, or do you want to just go through the matches real quick?
Yeah, let's just do predictions.
All right, excellent. Because those were the exciting matches that we obviously chose.
Yeah.
The first one, Brighton versus Wolves. What was the final score for that one?
2-2.
2-2. Okay, Terence picked Brighton to win 3-1, and I picked Brighton to win 4-1.
Okay.
Chelsea-Newcastle. Terence picked 3-0 victory for Chelsea, and I picked a 3-2 victory for Chelsea as well. Chelsea won 2-1. Okay. And the last one, Arsenal versus Liverpool. I think that's obviously the biggest match of the weekend and the highlight that we all want to talk about. Arsenal 2, Liverpool 1 was Terence's prediction, and I predicted that Arsenal would lose 1-3. And that ended with a 2-2 scoreline.
Yep.
Why don't we just talk about that and just see what you feel about that game, because I didn't watch it.
I think Arsenal played fantastic in the first half.
Right.
They had control over the game. The usual, the three-prong attack was very threatening. They had more of the ball, and
Was it supposed to be that Saka started?
It was a surprise. I think Arteta
Yeah, I think
usually
so too,
keeps his cards very close to his heart. He doesn't really reveal whether Saka would be featuring. Sorry. And that was quite a surprise, I think, the most, because I think he was flagged as a non-starter. At least in NFL terms, he was flagged as orange.
Exactly.
So I think Arteta usually has a one-up on people who get their early info, and he's usually not one to
Reveal
or let go any of this. So I mean, it was a surprise for me for Saka to start, and wow, how we have missed him for the last 2 matches. He came on, scored a brilliant goal after running from a through ball over the top from defense. And I think after that goal, Arsenal pretty much settled in. Liverpool had a corner through one of their attacks, and they scored from there, unfortunately. But again, I think Arsenal, for me, I felt like it was maybe a 60-40% feeling that I felt they could have won. So it's just like 60% I was thinking that they deserved
to win.
Yeah. I mean, most would argue that it was a fair result. But in the second half, clearly when you are 2-1 up against a big team, naturally you want to defend, because defending is usually much easier than attacking. So they didn't go out and gung-ho. They let Liverpool have the ball. So that might be perceived as Liverpool coming onto them. But I guess generally in big games like this, the safer approach would be to play defensively. So unfortunately, they conceded from a trend over the top ball into Darwin Núñez, who beat the offside trap, and then laid on a simple pass for Salah to score. And ended up with a 2-2 result, which I think led Man City fans. I mean, Man City fans were the biggest winners of this game week. Both of these rivals dropping points, and they are having 2-3 point lead now at the top of the table. And Man City is the only way you basically expect them to drop points is to beat them yourself.
Right.
So that was my take on the game.
So in the 81st minute, Salah scored the equalizer, so
Yeah.
kind of like Liverpool pickpocketed the victory from
Yeah.
us.
I mean, when
Sorry.
I was pretty upset when the goal was conceded because I just felt it was too easy. I mean, by then at that stage, Gabriel was forced off with an injury.
Yeah.
They had our always forget this guy's name, but we had the Kivior. We had Kivior playing centre back.
Yep.
So I guess in terms of the defensive coordination, they probably weren't talking, and we were also missing Saliba. So a lot of key defensive players at the back ruled out. Timber also actually went off. I think in the 75th minute, just before they scored. So
Right.
I guess the organisation part led to the goals. So again, it's like our own downfall after having, played 2 games with like 10 men, and then now we have an injury crisis of sorts to deal with also.
Yeah. I think these big games are what is what? I don't know. These big games will set apart who wins the title race at the end of the season. I think you rightly put it, where if you want to beat Man City, you just got to beat them at their game.
Yeah, but having said that, so I mean, EPL is so a very, very tough league. So
It's
not like you can't expect to beat the top 6. But I think that's what Arsenal actually did. They took points away from the top 6 last season,
but they dropped against the bottom 6.
The bottom half, yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting that you mentioned that, because I was watching a YouTube video on the way here, and they were also saying that the EPL is probably the toughest league to win, where a team like Manchester City can go to a team like Southampton, and the quality is worlds apart.
On paper, lah. Yeah.
Yeah. But they struggle for a 1-0 victory. They'll still win.
Yeah.
But they struggle. I mean, the gulf of quality between the two teams,
or rather between the leagues, lah.
Between the leagues as well. Yeah, of course. If you look at the Portuguese league, if you look at the German league, you know that there's like just 3 or 4 teams in the list of 20 that always come out on top, and then the rest of them are just there for the sake of being there.
Yeah, but having said that though, do you think that the Champions League, then the winners of the Champions League, or clubs that are usually featuring in the latter stages of the competition, does it mean like they are playing in, are they actually where they deserve to be, like in the top, how do I put this? Maybe the top teams in Europe, per se, because they're doing so well in the Champions League? It's like Man U, Liverpool. I don't think we've seen an English team win the Champions League in recent time. So is that also attributed to the EPL being so competitive that it takes out so much of them that they find it hard to
Well, I definitely think so. I think most teams would want to win their domestic league for sure. I think that's something that you grind out every week. When it comes to tournament-based games, and we've seen this even with the recent World Cup, the management style and the team selection style becomes very tournament-based, right? You would see, Bayern Munich plays this style of football, and I need to counter this style of football. These are the possible threats, and these are the people I need to neutralize. And you put your players there to specifically man-mark or neutralize those threats to gain yourself a draw, victory, or push yourself into a penalty kick-out, and from there, hope for the best.
So that's what I used to think about, like, how competitive a league is by determining how many teams of that league country is still featuring in the Champions League or have qualified, for example.
But that also just boils down to maybe squad depth, right? Even if you look at if you look at the EPL, to be honest, in this next 9 weeks, most of the top teams in the top 8 positions will be playing a lot of games. The only team with actual squad depth would be Man City. They have 2 world-class players for every position available. Whereas you look at your Arsenals, your Liverpools, your Manchester United, your Tottenham Hotspur, even your Aston Villa, they don't have that. So either way, they have to say, hey, I've got to decide, do I want to win all the cups and forego my domestic league?
I don't think they will. The word is forego. They will still want to win it.
I mean, of course they want to, but it's just humanly impossible. I mean, these guys are going to be tired, no?
But I think they just did the treble, right?
Which is why most clubs, when they play games like the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, they just feel like the young ones. They'll feel the new guys coming in because you play with the lower leagues first, and then as you get closer to the end, of course, then you play with the better teams.
Yeah.
Which is why sometimes those teams suffer. Like, oh my gosh, we're down to QPR 1-0, and then you throw on some of your stars to hopefully get a 1-1 draw or 2-1 victory within the last 15-20 minutes, thinking that that's all you need. But you're just trying to rest your players for the weekend, basically. So I think squad depth, very important. I think Man City definitely quality, 100%. I think the next team with good squad depth would be Chelsea.
Yeah, of course. They've got so many players.
Yeah, I think that's the only other team with good squad depth. Every other team, I think, would suffer if they're going to be
competing on too many fronts.
Yeah, all 4 to 5 fronts, depending on those leagues. Moving into the next games, I think, Everton pulled out a last-minute equalizer there against Fulham. Not very exciting game. I didn't expect Spurs to lose to Crystal Palace, did you? Yeah, that was a shocking
Spurs
scoreline.
has been so inconsistent.
Yeah, I think you're the one who mentioned that the Postecoglou would be fired by December, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if they continue getting results like that, it's trending that way.
Yeah, yeah.
I just don't understand their current form.
Son isn't doing what he should be doing, I guess.
I mean,
Scoring
the Spurs fanboys are actually saying that he's not comfortable playing or the role that he's given actually.
Isn't he still playing on the left side?
The playmaker role.
I see.
The free role.
His free role. Okay.
Yeah.
He needs a little bit more structure.
Previously he was all
like most Asians we need a little bit more structure in our lives. Anyway, Chelsea coming away with a 2-1 victory.
Yeah.
I did not watch this game. I didn't even know this game was being played, except for when I saw my FPL. Happy that Cole Palmer scored, because got him on my FPL, so that's why.
The goal that Nicholas Jackson scored was actually a product of a Cole Palmer pass, which was again this boy.
They should have just naturally given him the assist, even though it wasn't the last touch.
Correct. I mean, this boy is really something. He's a baller.
Yes.
I've been saying many weeks already how world class of a player he is.
And finally, Isak getting on the scoreline. Everybody else probably sold him already.
It was a tap in.
Yeah, but still, a goal is a goal, right? If you're rewarded that goal, that's basically it. Leicester City losing 3-1 to Nottingham Forest. That was the first game of the week, and I think everyone is surprised, or maybe not surprised, that Chris Wood is making waves.
Yeah,
scoring 2 goals in that game. Aston Villa, very, very, very sadly drawing 1-1 to Bournemouth. Again with another last minute goal. I think we watched most of the games together because we were at Terrence's birthday party over the weekend, and we watched most of the Saturday games together. A lot of last minute goals, huh?
Yeah.
A lot of last minute action that we saw on Goal Rush.
The Brentford one especially.
The Brentford one, yeah, that one was crazy with that goal.
Game.
Yeah. Brighton and Wolves as well. I think that was pretty surprising. I don't think we expected that scoreline. Wolves starting to come into what you say they're not supposed to be last position, and they're starting to show that they are not last position quality. I think even some of the people that I listen to on social media, they say that it's time to pick up some Wolves players. Kunha is one of them. I think you got, and then the other guy who scored the goal that you have, Enuri. Also another good guy to pick up. Man City does what champions do best, grinding out a 1-0 victory.
Although I really thought that the floodgates were open.
I thought so too.
Everybody had.
I hear a lot of people
captain.
Exactly.
Even I think
triple captain.
Jerome triple captain.
Oh, shout out to Jerome who put Haaland as his triple captain. Sadly, he
not too bad lah.
Jerome's still sitting on top though.
Yeah, not too bad. As long as you're getting returns, it's okay to have a triple captain because you see
I mean, nobody's gonna put Mbueno as triple captain.
Yeah.
But then he goes ahead. Chris Wood even, right? Nobody would think that. Yeah. But then again, these are the guys grinding out some good wins. And then obviously the highlight of the weekend that we want to definitely talk about is West Ham versus Manchester United. The only reason why we want to talk about it, not because all of us here are Manchester United fans, including Old Shanghai, but we feel that it is the straw that broke the camel's back.
But you, on the other hand, were saying that they already had some info, right? I mean, there were rumors circulating.
Right. And just like Old Shanghai pointed out, it's a straw that broke the camel back in the sense that they just wanted a reason, right? They're looking... If we had beat West Ham, there wasn't a good reason to sack him just yet. So probably whoever they had approached, whether it was pre-season or mid-season or when they noticed that they were struggling, whether it was our defeat to Spurs or defeat to Liverpool or, all those big defeats that we got, I think at some point they had already, we are 1 foot out the door with Erik ten Hag. Let's try and explore some options. And I think they were talking to a few people, but they're just waiting for a result.
Actually,
to give reason.
correct. So,
Right.
would you think that Ten Hag probably caught wind of some of this? Because I guess it's quite hard to keep that a secret, right? Like, when you
It's quite easy to keep it a secret. Why would it be tough?
would have probably
Would you know
approached
in your company, if your company was what did they call them?
restructuring.
Restructuring. If your company was restructuring, would they tell you if you were not of that pay grade?
It's actually a duty to inform.
Okay, you're saying what the letter of the law says,
All
but would
employees
they?
about
Would you know if something was going on?
Okay, if let's say my company was big enough, so much so like, let's say I work at a tech firm,
Yeah.
Grab,
Right.
there'll probably be leaks. That's what I'm
Leaks.
saying.
So, okay, leaks.
Okay, where I'm coming from is because Man U is such a big club, right? And so the manager that got appointed, he already knew, let's say a few weeks back, that he was approached by United. He would probably go home and tell his family members, hey, United actually approached me. And they might inadvertently
Or like
you
tweet
know,
something,
I
or
don't
say
say tweet, but
something,
they
or
might just share it
tell
with a
it
friend of
friends,
theirs.
and then
slowly word
just
gets out, and then Ten Hag will probably be,
through the
hearing of this through
through the grapevines, right? That's what they say. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
through the
okay.
grapevine. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, in the world of football, it's just because it's such a big deal, it's a big thing, everyone follows it. Surely he might have gotten some wind of that.
Yeah. So I really think that this was as old Shanghai puts it. I really think that this is a scapegoat kind of a situation, because even a lot of the pundits said that this is one of Manchester United's better performances. They felt that Manchester United played well
Unlucky
against.
to score.
Yeah, and even the penalty that was given was a bit shady. Like it was very questionable. It's not like a very obvious penalty that 100% this is definitely going to be a penalty. So I think based on all that, really, really unlucky. And I think you need a little bit of luck in football.
Of course.
For sure. But yeah, with that result, obviously it took them a couple of days to stomach that. And then they've
Who's
decided
next day? They play on Sunday night, right?
Monday, today's Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday, okay.
Yeah. So, okay, maybe more than 24 hours, within like 36 hours, they've decided to fire Erik ten Hag.
And immediately announce a successor.
Well, they didn't immediately announce. I think the announcement of the successor, or the news about said successor comes through leaks, just like you mentioned. I think everybody was speculating, even if you watch Sky Sports News, that when they had the breaking news, they said, Manchester United is talking to four to five different guys. And it just appears that this guy is the front runner. Nothing has been confirmed, although...
Really?
Yeah, so in our group chat, somebody had posted something from the Manchester Evening News. I went to Sky Sports to see. Sky Sports has not said anything. So usually you want to go to a more legitimate
source,
news source. Like, don't go read tabloids and all that kind of stuff, because tabloids are just going to leak stuff and say stuff, but nothing is 100% confirmed until, obviously, on the original, not original, but the official website of the club, or on a news website like Sky Sports or Soccernet, yeah, ESPN. Basically, yeah. We know it as soccernet.com, but now it's changed.
ESPN
back then, yeah. So, what is your take? I mean, being a football lover, being a avid footballer, being a person who watches, especially over the seasons, and because you chose FPL, and you always like to choose Onana because you say that he gets a lot of saves because Manchester United's defense sucks. But he's a good keeper, so he gets a lot of saves. You obviously have had Man U players in your FPL team, so you have had watched games.
Yeah.
What do you think about them firing Erik ten Hag? Do you think it's correct? Do you think?
I guess that is the go-to approach these days. And
No. But you think not about what the go-to approach is. Do you think it was
generally,
or he should have been given more time? Do you feel?
Okay, just
as an unbiased guy, because you're not a Man U fan, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, to put it bluntly, I have actually been
in this situation before.
No,
I've
actually been hating on United since like 94, 95. So it's been that long. So whenever they go through a period like this, it's to me finally time that I've spent like watching them win all that many trophies so many years ago. It's now like it's what I call a payback time, for us, Arsenal supporters, the Blackburn supporters, the Liverpool supporters. So it's like, for us, it's in a way we don't want Ten Hag to go because of the way United's been playing under him. So to see him actually get sacked, to us we see it differently. So it's more like, oh no, so who's going to come in? But then just now when we were talking off air, you actually alluded to how much control certain clubs have in their hierarchy, which enable a manager to succeed. So given the the hierarchy that they have at United, I don't know if this manager is also, I mean, hiring and firing is also the right thing to do. Yeah. So, the part about the sporting director, the football director, and then them having to answer to the owners of the club, who some might argue that they're not there for football merits. They're just there to make money. They don't have the club's best interest in success in football at heart. So I don't know. I think United are still in a very, very precarious position.
Yeah.
Even though this guy that is touted to be coming in is actually a very good manager on paper.
Yeah.
But again, untested.
Untested, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you would say untested. The fanboys would say tested, because even in Champions League, he has not been beaten. He's unbeaten in Champions League with, is it Sporting Lisbon?
Yeah, Lisbon.
Sporting Lisbon, unbeaten. He has won the league twice in a row.
But just when you mentioned that, it's like, I just recalled like Gerrard winning the league as well, right?
At Rangers, is it?
Then we were thinking like, oh, finally he's going to come to the EPL
But I mean,
and be a successful story.
So players here's the difference. I think it's different when you are Steven Gerrard. You go to a club like Rangers. You have had good experience in your footballing career, but you still don't have a stacked team, right? And yes, you have one major adversary the whole season, which you have to play 2 games against, which is Celtic, right? Everything else sort of is a shoe-in victory. Hopefully, if nothing goes wrong, if you play your cards right, you should get 3 points, if not 1. So you could go the whole season unbeaten, except for those 2 games against Celtic. You never know what's going to happen. And if you manage that game well, you could walk away with 2 draws. So then it just depends on your consistency for the rest. And that could be said about the French league. It could be said about, obviously, the Portuguese league. It could be said about the Dutch league and even the German leagues, where you have maybe 2 to 3 strong teams that are going to pose you some threat. But apart from that, if you keep your head down, do your work hard, you probably get there. Which is why, even in the Scottish league, the goals are not, as in, for the European Golden Boot, Scottish league goals, I think you can check this out, or you should check this out, somebody should check this out. Every 2 or 3 goals is only valued 1 goal in like EPL and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Because if not, they'd just be scoring for fun, and then it's like, oh, look, this guy scored 50 goals a season, but actually doesn't really matter, which is why none of them win Ballon d'Or. Right? But yeah, with that being said, I think to win it once is one thing. To win it twice successfully, I think that's a big deal, right? And then to go ahead and win, I think, the equivalent of FA Cup within their country as well, says something now about the team really progressing a little bit with the style of play, with understanding all that. And then this season with Champions League not losing any of the matches, I think that's pretty good.
Record to go in, maybe. Yes, I agree.
Right. But I think for a manager to come to Manchester United, I think first and foremost, they need to understand the condition or the state of which the club is in, right? Whether it's financially, whether it's, structurally, they need to understand that. Then they need to understand very clearly what their roles are and who are the decision makers for those roles, right? Whether we're talking about a footballing director, whether we're talking about a scouting director, whether we're talking about who decides on whether we're purchasing players or not purchasing players, coaches, even things that go down all the way to style of play and academy football and all that kind of stuff. Because that's where your academy players come from. If they come with a certain style of playing and then they come in the first team and it's a different style of playing, that's going to be like, this is not what we're used to. Then people leave. So the clubs with the structure, we're talking about teams like Manchester City, we're talking about teams like Leipzig, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, all these teams that you see them playing well, good football, beating teams, going out there even with no names. None of the names do kids want to buy these jerseys to, because nobody knows them. They're unknown people until they come to a big club, right? So I think this, what's his name again? Amori? Ruben Amori. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong. Ruben. Yeah, not Neves, that's for sure. Although he is Portuguese, both of them. I think we can just Google that. Let's just Google that real quick. There, his name is Amorim.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Ruben Amorim coming in, being a young guy at 39, and not actually having won many accolades like on the big stage, I don't know how he's going to control this room of egos, because it seems that a lot of these players have probably won more than him. If you talk about players like Casemiro and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
They've won a little bit more than him. Whether it's even World Cup winners and all that kind of stuff, or even, whatever. How he's actually going to manage this team. Right? Being Portuguese, he might have Bruno Fernandes on his side, he might have Diego Dalot on his side, but that's basically it. If these two guys have beef with other players, I don't know how that's going to affect. And I don't know how a 39-year-old is going to come in there and coach Rashford and all these other guys.
I mean,
I feel a bit sad for RVN actually, Ruud van Nistelrooy, that he was a manager, then he came in to
Feyenoord, right? Was it?
Yeah.
Feyenoord?
and then he came in to be a coach, and now he's just given the interim role, kind of, where this is his club, where he played, 500 games? No, 252 games? I don't know, I can't remember. He played a lot of games and was touted as probably the most prolific striker of the EPL, or if not for Manchester United.
So you think that you have rather him had a go at managerial spot?
I mean, he's been there for the last, 10 games? 9 games. How many games? 9 games we played. He's been there for the last 9 games, including the Champions League and then the preseason coaching and all that kind of stuff. So he kind of knows what's going on. Now, I know that some of the coaching staff might have differences with how the manager decides eventually. And he's supposed to be the striking coach. Although, sadly, Manchester United is ranked, I think, the highest for creating the most amount of chances but not scoring. So that's a very sad statistic to have, especially when RVN is your striking coach or striker coach. So, again, we've heard this debate go around many times. Do the players just want to get rid of the coaching staff? Do the players just want to get rid of the manager? I mean, some of these things, even like Diego Dalot, would you have finished that goal?
I think a lot of us would argue that we would.
Yeah.
Again,
there's pressure. You're playing in a big club. You're playing with, hundreds and thousands of fans watching and all that pressure. Sure. But as a professional, this is your bread and butter. You should have put that away. Right? Would that have saved your... And I'm not saying he purposely shot it to where he hit the Tiang. So unless it's really that accurate, it's like, yes, I'm just going to hit the Tiang. It's going to go out and, it won't be a goal. I don't think that was the case. But at the end of the day, you want these things being put away. Right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. And there were so many chances created, but we just didn't score. Like, people in the group chats I was in would have said, by halftime we should have been 5-0 up, 10-0 up, whatever. They said, some of the tweets and some of the memes online, if Ruud van Nistelrooy were playing, we would have scored 10 goals already. And that's not in his heyday, that is today. Right? So it's very funny. It's very funny that people are saying these things, but then we, looking from outside perspective, are able to have all these thoughts or even these ideas, but yet they don't seem to see it and it doesn't seem to click. Are we not seeing something you feel in football?
I guess, with regards to them not putting away the chances, there's also maybe the element of, you can't say luck. If let's say, the first half, actually, United should have been on the score sheet easily. But I wouldn't say that all the misses was down to them not having the luck of the draw or, not training hard enough. I'm sure they put in their paces. Maybe it's just the confidence in the team. Generally, at this juncture, they don't seem like the players are very confident in front of goal themselves, and it's a compounding thing. Week after week, it's just the morale isn't the highest, and of course, if you also know of inside rumors of your coach's status in the team, then whatever he tells you is basically for naught, because he's going to be gone, and then you're basically just playing for yourself. You're not really wanting to listen, or maybe they would in a professional sense, they would, but it will be on the back of the head. So when they're playing the game, probably some of it thoughts are still lingering, in the dressing room or whatever. So I guess it also adds to that whole issue that United is facing right now, languishing 14 in the table.
Yeah, 14th position is definitely sacking worthy for Manchester United.
To back up what you said, definitely, even with disappointment, it's not like a sure-in thing for United.
So I want to touch on something that you actually just brought up, and I think that's very important. So you said that if the manager doesn't instill confidence in the player or the team, and in that sense, the team doesn't feel confident about the manager's decisions and the style of play, that obviously affects the players, right?
Yeah.
Have you been in such a position where whether it's at work, so your superiors, your bosses, your managers, or even just a colleague, same team or whatever that you guys work on. So whether it's at work, whether it was football specifically or sports that you had played, or even at home with like family members or spouse, has someone ever like not instilled confidence in you that you feel like maybe I can't complete this task, maybe I'm not qualified or not able to complete something?
I mean, definitely there are moments in life where, I mean, we start off as individuals, then we meet people along the way, and then, at least for me, the bottom line is you are accountable for your own actions, and you are answerable to the maker when your time is up. So, to put it simply, if you are, in that sense, doing the best to your abilities on a day in, day out, daily life, essentially, then I feel that you will get, it's because it's like daily, constant repeating. Let's say if I'm a footballer and I'm only answerable to myself at the moment, I'm playing for myself, I'm playing for my career, then I'm putting in that effort, to be the best I can be on the training pitch, whatever. So it translates into how I play on the match day. So similarly to life in general, if you have this mentality, then I think people who are in your life who wants to give advice, they can edify to that, so they can add on to that. So at least for me, sometimes when I feel that I don't have the solution, there are people in life that I can turn to for help and go from there, proceed from there, take a different approach. But maybe at least for me, the core is still centered around doing the best to my abilities. Yeah.
So even if the individual, let's say your boss says, hey, I've got this task for you, task A, and then in front of everyone else in the team, it's like, hey, John, can you manage Tez to make sure you finish this task A? Wouldn't you feel like, oh, man? So it's just like them saying, hey, guys, hand the ball to Bruno, or even Casemiro for that matter, but there's 70% chance he's going to lose the ball, so you all don't go up too much. Just watch him, just in case he loses the ball, because we got to track back. Then he's going to feel like, hey, dude, come on, like, I can hold my own, man. You know what I mean?
I know, but
yeah. So it's like your wife says, like, hey, pack the bag, and then you're like, yeah, I pack the bag. Oh, but if you forget, then I ask the helper to do something. Then it's like, oh shoot. Then it's like, then just ask her to do everything. Like, yeah. You know what I mean?
I guess. Okay, that probably
that's what I meant in my question. Like, has somebody ever said something that shakes your confidence and you feel that you can't complete that task, or you don't have to? Man, actually, maybe I'm unable to.
I mean, definitely there are moments like this. But I wouldn't say it's like a recurring thing. So, for it to happen, and firstly, I think that's the wrong approach, lah. Like,
of course,
you're going to be putting someone down in front, and then for team dynamics wise also, I mean, to a certain extent, these players also know where they stand in the team, lah, right? For them to be undermined when they feel that they shouldn't be, then I think it's also very clear for the other players that maybe the coach is picking on him. If
correct, and that's probably why they all decide, hey, let's just go against the coach and just like sack him. Let's just not score any goals.
But I also don't think that's what's going on.
It's hard, man. It's tough to broach this subject. I don't know. We probably need like a 2 or 3 hour special Deepavali edition podcast.
Exactly, but to be fair, I don't think that's essentially going on. It can probably be him just putting his idea, his style of play, tactics, and then just get everybody to work for him in that aspect by playing to what he says.
Yeah.
But it's just failing because it's not the right mix, the right recipe for that game, for that fixture against this certain team.
Yeah, so what I heard, or what I heard meaning listen to a podcast, not like they told me, but what I heard and what I read also is that for the style of play that Erik ten Hag wants, he doesn't have the correct players to play the style that he wants. He's trying to force them to play in that style, and they are not responding well. Yeah, they're not responding well to this style, and they can't keep up with it, lah. So
then it's up to him to
correct. So as a manager, you should just change your style to the strength of your players, right?
True. So, but then also he has to keep finding the right one.
Correct.
And
so
if they're not, having
and another thing is they've never had a consistent back line.
Okay.
The four at the back have changed throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
There's never been a consistent game after game, same 4 back line or same 3 back line that they've chosen. So I think that's one of the things that communication really struggles with when you don't have the same back line.
There are a lot of variables. I mean,
yeah. Anyway, we can
saw
talk
it.
about the cows come.
Yeah.
We can talk until the cows come home. But I think that's for another time and another day. Maybe we might win the season now with this new manager. You never know, right? You never know. The ball is round, as they say.
But anyway, also alluding to what you said earlier about
Yeah.
the age, right?
What age?
Pep Guardiola also started out at a very young age.
Yeah, but Pep Guardiola went into a team that even if it was blind and deaf and mute and dumb, he could still win every match because all he would say is,
I don't know.
pass the ball to Messi.
Oh,
What
you mean
else?
when he was Barca? Okay.
I mean, is that where he started his career?
But what gave Barca that confidence? Yes. But
I think he grew through the ranks, right? So he was
Yeah.
like one of the academy coaches, and then he just kind of came up because they have to do their coaching badges anyway, and most of them do it with their home club, right? So he used to be a player at Barca, so then he did his badges with his home club, and after he got all his badges, then they just naturally promoted him if he does well, of course. So in case you didn't know, when they are players, they can sign up for their coaching badges as well. So even towards the end of their career, players like Gary Neville, Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, all of them, they
Took
can
their
choose to go and do their coaching badges. So they have to do and then write essays and do like some videos and
and that's
stuff
how you
like
get
that.
those player coaches.
And that's how you get and that's how you get your coaching badges. But you need to get to a certain level if you want to be like FA allowed, accredited. Probably that's the proper word. Managers.
Okay.
So if you're not so high, you can probably do like Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, and then kind of just work your way up from there. But yeah, most of these players, they are given the option to do their coaching badges as they're finishing up their career within that home club, and then they just like train the academy guys and the youth guys and become all these young guy coaches. Which is how like Phil Neville and all these guys came up as well.
Okay.
And even Gareth Southgate. Yeah. Wait, how did we get into that?
Ages.
Oh, ages, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Pep Guardiola, look at him. He went to Barcelona. He's got Lionel Messi. He went
Actually,
to...
why didn't Gary
He had
Neville-
Ronaldo. I mean, Ronaldinho and Messi both at the same time. He just worked with them a little bit. I think he even worked with Zlatan for maybe one season, if I'm not wrong. They just couldn't get along, and he moved on, and
Actually,
he went to Bayern Munich after that.
I wanted
Dude,
to. I wanted to.
Who loses at Bayern Munich? When you had that... What? Muller, right?
Thomas Muller.
Thomas Muller. He was at the top of his game back then. Then who's the other striker that they had?
Lewandowski.
Miroslav Klose.
Oh,
Yeah,
Miroslav Klose.
Lewandowski. No, Lewandowski. All these guys. Lewandowski scoring 5 goals in 20 minutes. Who does that in that kind of league? So, I mean, there's nothing much to manage in that sense. The thing that was elusive for him, don't talk about Barcelona because Messi did it all for him. But Bayern Munich, did he win the Champions League?
I don't think so.
I don't think he did. He just
Yeah.
won all the domestic stuff.
Yeah.
Which is why at the end of the day he left, because Bayern Munich is not a Man City where they can just have hundreds and billions of dollars to buy all the players that they want. And even when he came to Man City, yeah, he won the domestic league, but it took him so long just to win the Champions League,
Yeah. Like
which shows his
6
true
years.
powers, right? Yeah. So is he a fantastic manager? Yes, I think he's a good style of playing. He's able to get the best out of his players.
Ultimately, you also need
But-
the resources, lah.
Dude, he's got the players that he wants. If he doesn't have those players, I don't know if he can go to Brighton and make Brighton thrive like they are today. I don't know.
I mean, good point.
Yeah. That's why even that Brighton manager that went to Chelsea, he suffered so much. He couldn't deal with all the egos. He couldn't know how to handle them. Yeah.
Of course, name again. Richmond, right? Potters.
Yeah, Graham
Graham
Potter's
Potters.
GP. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I think that was a lot that we can talk about for sure. Excitement coming this weekend.
United playing Chelsea.
I think that's what we are led to believe.
United is
Yeah.
playing Chelsea on
There's going to be midweek
Tuesday.
games. There are going to be midweek games. I think Champions League is on, if I'm not wrong. Or is it FA Cup? No, it's FA Cup. It's FA Cup. I can't remember. But anyway, that's not the point.
Wait. Sorry. Monday night means Sunday night.
No, this is Monday
Monday
morning.
morning.
Yeah,
Right,
Sunday
Monday
night.
morning,
Sunday night.
Okay, good.
So you're not going to work on Monday?
We usually work from home.
Ooh, lucky.
All
right.
Okay.
So, big game. Newcastle at home against Arsenal. Arsenal, I think, would have probably used up all the energy against Liverpool. They used up every single ounce of energy against Liverpool. Saka's probably injured again. They have a midweek game, and then they're going to play Newcastle.
Yeah.
Isak suddenly got on fire, so he's definitely going to score a hat-trick against Arsenal. I'm just kidding, guys. Okay, so we've got Newcastle against Arsenal, Bournemouth, Man City, Ipswich against Leicester, Liverpool, and Brighton. I think that's going to be a hot game, Liverpool versus
Yeah.
Brighton. They both play very similar style football.
Very interesting game.
Yeah, very fast-paced, very cagey match. I feel that's one of the predictions that we can have actually.
Sure.
Nottingham Forest and West Ham. I think that's going to be interesting. Nottingham Forest actually for FPL guys. Nottingham Forest have a very good run of games that if you want to pick up Chris Wood, this is a good time to pick him up. I think next 3 or 4 games he's going to be up there. Southampton and Everton, that's bottom of the league clash. We've got Wolves and Crystal Palace, also bottom of the league clash. Spurs, Aston Villa, London derby. I think that's going to be exciting, especially because Spurs need a victory.
Yeah.
After that performance, and they're playing at home. Aston Villa also coming back with a draw and then midweek game, so we'll see how they last. And obviously, we're going to see Cole Palmer score 5 goals in one half, breaking his own record. I'm just kidding. But I hope that happens not because I don't like Manchester United, but because I have him as FPL. And since Manchester United is not giving me the joy, hopefully FPL gives me the joy that I want these days. Yeah.
That's the right way to approach FPL and enjoy your weekend football.
Yes. So Terence might help me understand this a little bit better. If you notice, not only on Monday, but on Tuesday this week, we have another game.
Yeah.
So we have 2, in a sense, later games, not on the weekend. One on Monday and one on Tuesday. Is that a double game weekend?
No, it's not. I think I mentioned a few episodes ago that this particular season, there's not many double game weeks to start with. So
Christmas will be our best bet, right?
Yeah, maybe not as, because I think there were a lot last
season, few seasons,
with, like blanks and doubles all going on at the same time. So they are actually somehow removing all of it, because it also revolves around how the FA Cup fixtures and the League Cup fixtures plays out, and that will determine what the blanks and doubles that will come.
So does that match Fulham and Brentford? Is that game week?
It's just a late
10 or 10. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
10.
So Saturday onwards, that's a new cycle. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, so close. You look, Brentford's playing on Tuesday and then again on Saturday. I don't know if they have a midweek game either, but dang, that's interesting. Okay, I need you to pick 3 games.
Yeah.
I'm going to start typing them out. We're going to do predictions before we head into FPL and wrap this show up.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Newcastle, Arsenal.
Okay, hold on. Newcastle, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Okay, you tell me what you want.
2-1 to Arsenal.
Newcastle, Arsenal. Okay. You say 2-1, huh?
Then the next game.
Hey, let me do my prediction first. I'm going to say 1-1.
Okay. Because next game is the Liverpool-Brighton game.
Okay, that's a good choice as well.
I want to see a high-scoring game, though. But things I don't have Salah. So
this should be not dependent on your FPL, by the way.
Yeah, I know, but then you are hoping, you see. So yeah, I don't want to hope so much.
Okay, Liverpool-Brighton, what you've got?
Go for 1-1 draw.
Oh, that's exciting. That's what I thought as well.
Tight game.
Okay, and
although Brighton did concede a lot of goals against Chelsea.
But that's because they have playmakers like Cole Palmer.
Yeah. And Liverpool also have Salah.
He's not really a playmaker like Cole Palmer. I think they're both very different styles. I think Mo Salah is more like a Iron Robin kind.
This season, probably Salah not so influential, but he's coming up at the right place. The difference maker, put it.
I would agree to that. And then last one, you want a Man U Chelsea?
Oh, this is nice.
Or you want a Spurs Aston Villa London derby?
I want a Man U Chelsea.
Man U Chelsea.
I'm gonna go for a away Chelsea victory. 3-1.
3-1 to the Blues. Okay. Cole Palmer not showing up during this game.
Of course he's showing up.
Okay. So is Onana still going to be your keeper, by the way?
No, I really.
Excellent. You got rid of him?
When I wildcarded, I got rid of him.
Okay. I'm going to say we are firing blanks. Ooh, new manager though.
Really? Will it be?
No.
Not confirmed yet, what?
Yeah, so RVN is still the new manager. So,
Fair
this is interesting. RVN going against Chelsea. He probably knows how they play. But then again, Cole Palmer. Dang. I was going to say 0 to Manchester United and like 5 to Chelsea.
Wow.
I really think they're going to run away with this one, like run riot. Because maybe they don't want RVN either. But
I didn't expect that.
I'm going to be.
Though.
Huh?
I didn't expect that coming from a United fan to have 0-5 as a score prediction.
No, I'm a United fan, but I'm also realistic, right? I'm not deluded.
Okay. Although you did predict United to win the league.
That's true. That's true also. In the first episode, if any of you guys listen, or if you want to go back and listen, I did predict that Manchester are going to win the league. That delete has gone to every team and it has won. I will say that Manchester United is going to win the season. Are you going to say Manchester? Because Delete has gone there, and statistically it has proven that he has won every time he goes to a team, and it's only because Ruben Amorim is coming in. So when he comes in, we are going to win the league. So it only is when he comes in. From there on out, we'll calculate the points and see if we win the league. Okay. Yes. Mark my words. I will say 2-2. All right. That's done for predictions. How did your FPL go?
Finally, see some green arrows.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I managed to get some points on the board at last, but still due for some transfers. Going to take out some players that I had. Very happy. Chris Wood, Wilmo. And good thing I had Saka in. So
nice.
pointer.
Oh, you got 67 points. You were the second highest in our league.
Yeah, Jerome, the highest.
Yeah, Jerome had the highest. And why did he have the highest?
Because he triple captain. Okay.
Yeah.
He,
he triple captain Haaland. Excellent guy. Okay.
I mean, we have still yet to play our shifts. For all you know, when we play them, blank.
That's true. I mean, the difference is only what? 20 points.
But actually,
everyone is 20 points.
Actually, from Jerome, is actually quite far. For him to build up this lead in this early stage.
Oh, yeah. He's about 30 points ahead of us.
Yeah.
Oh, far from you, though. He's 50 points ahead of you. All right. But anyway, yes, ever since I brought in my guys from the wildcard week, I think I've been okay. They've been struggling to perform. This week, though, I made the wrong choice of keeping Henderson on the bench.
How many points did Henderson score?
Henderson got 8 points this week, and I chose Raya thinking that he would do well against Liverpool because I thought he would have a lot of shots to be saved, but actually he got 0 points. Pathetic guy. And then obviously Gabriel. So I'm going to get rid of these guys and then change up my goalkeeper. I've got 2 free transfers to make this week. I'm keeping Welbeck. He's excellent for me. He's been scoring points every weekend. And Bueno and Palmer and Salah, all 3 on my midfield squad, doing really well. I don't know if I want to keep Johnson. I thought he was good. Ever since he came back from international break, he's just been kind of a bit of a lackluster performance for me.
But Spurs, again, is attributed to the team.
Right, again, and they're playing against Aston Villa this week. I don't know how they're going to fare, so I might have to change up some of the players in here. Might take a 2-point hit to get an extra transfer. We'll see.
4 point.
Yeah, 4-point hit. I thought it was 4-point hit. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Yeah. I think that's all that we have this week for FPL. If you guys need a bit more insight on FPL, do go ahead and comment or just comment below, and we'll engage with you guys on YouTube as well as Spotify if you guys are listening. But go ahead and like and subscribe. If you guys have anything that you guys want to share or just ask us offline, just go ahead and request in our social media platforms, and we're happy to, chat with you guys and just engage you guys a little bit more on different topics, whether it's life, whether it's football, whether it's work, or just football banter, or even want to play football with us. Let us know. We're happy to play football. We are raring to go, especially after Kwok gets back from his recovery surgery. But thank you guys for joining us on another episode of SG Fan Talk. This is Terrence by my side, my guy for the last 3 weeks. And I'm Raveen, and I will see you next week on SG Fan Talk. Bye.
Bye.